Space ID, each bringing their own unique perspectives and expertise during our talk. And before we kick off our AMA session for today, we would like to remind everybody, just like always, there's an oat campaign undergoing on Galaxy. So if you listen to this call for 25 minutes, you will be able to claim the oat. And we do have some prizes. We have 200 in USDT and $200 in MIS token. So $400 worth of rewards in total. So make sure you claim your oat and you'll have a chance to win some rewards. And now let's shift our focus to our guests here. Fascinating world of Web3 browsers. Let's start the AMA session. So first of all, I want our guests to introduce themselves. So starting with you, Rose, could you please give us a brief introduction about yourself, as well as NFTScan?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me here. So, hello everyone. I'm Rose, the BD head of NFTScan. So, NFTScan is the world's largest NFT data infrastructure, including a professional NFT explorer and NFT developer platform, supporting the complete amount of NFT data for 14 blockchain, including Ethereum, Solana, BNB, Arbitrum, and other networks that I think you know the name, and providing NFT API for developers on various blockchains. Yeah, that's the brief introduction of NFT Scan, and let's explore deeper into NFT Scan in this space.
Thank you, Rose. Luke, same question to you. Please give a brief intro about yourself and Mrs. Browser.
Okay, thank you very much, host. So, hello everyone. This is Luke. I'm head of community of Mrs. Browser. I have joined crypto industry since 2017. Back in school, skipped a lot of classes to do that. Okay, and got a little bit experience in Web3 and crypto. But Mrs. Browser is a Web3 mobile browser. So let's dig deeper in the future AMA. Okay.
Thanks, Luke. And Harrison, lastly, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Space ID is. Why don't you remind everybody who you are, in case anybody does not know yet?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Artan. My name is Harrison. I'm a senior BD manager here at Space ID, building out partnerships and strategy with awesome projects like NFTScan and Mises. Happy to be here. Happy to discuss with these teams and see what we can do to continue to grow the ecosystem.
Thanks. And now we can dive into some more interesting topics after these introductions. I think our community is going to learn more about NFTScan, about Mrs. Browser. So traditional Web 2, right, is a gateway for us to get into the internet, offering us access to the information and communication. However, we do have a new paradigm known as Web 3 browsers. They have emerged into our life, revolutionizing the way we interact with the internet. So I do have a question for you, Luke. So what in general differentiates a Web3 browser project from traditional Web2 browsers? Like we have Chrome, we have Safari. I'm interested to learn more what differentiates you guys from the traditional solutions.
Okay, so the biggest differentiations should be features, right? Compared to Chrome and Safari. Okay, so first, Mrs. Browser, you can use extensions. Okay, you can download any Chrome extensions you want to use from the official Google Web Store to your Mrs. Browser, and all those extensions which have been already listed on our extension applicator, all of them have been tested, and we can make sure they can work perfectly on Mrs. Browser. Okay, this is the first differentiation. Mobile version of Chrome, you cannot use extensions. And Safari, actually you can use extensions on Safari, but the ecosystem of extension on Safari is still very small. So the second differentiation is about our Web3 Dev Store. So we have also built a Web3 Dev Store. We have integrated more than 700 mainstream Web3 dev in it, and same as our extension applicator, all those devs listed in Mrs. Dev Store have been tested and, if necessary, have been optimized by Mrs. team or our partners team. We can make sure they can work perfectly on Mrs. Browser. This is the second differentiation. For example, there is also a mobile browser which can load Chrome extension. It's called Kiwi browser. But actually, we have talked with Kiwi Browser, and their developer has told us that Kiwi Browser isn't really focused on Web3. So they haven't been doing too much optimization regarding Web3 dApps and extensions. But this browser is completely focused on your Web3 experience on mobile. So we have been optimizing the dApps and the extensions just to make sure they can work perfectly on your mobile phone. And the third feature is the resolution and the resolution of decentralized domains and our support for IPFS. So right now, we have supported the resolution of ENS and unstoppable domain and .bits on Mrs. Browser. And you may be asking me, you may want to ask me why we haven't supported the resolution of Space ID. The answer is there's still some technical problems. We are trying to solve it. And when we solve it, we will support the resolution of Space ID on Mrs. Browser as well. And also, we also support IPFS. So if you want to visit a decentralized website deployed on IPFS with a decentralized domain name like vitalik.tth, as well as simple on Mrs. Browser, all you need to do is to write down the domain name in the address bar, and we can do the resolution and the support for IPFS automatically for you. Other browsers is going to be a little bit more complicated, like Chrome and Safari. The last feature is our security features focused on Web3, because right now there are lots of phishing scammers in Web3 right now, right? So to protect our users' assets, we have implemented some security services into Mrs. Browser. So for example, we have implemented the detection of phishing sites. We are thinking about implementing the detection of smart contract and wallet risks. And we got the security whitelist for our business. So when we build a partnership with another project, their website extension will be entered into our security whitelist automatically. And when our users are connecting to a website in Mrs. Browser, our AI module for phishing site detection will scan this website, and if the domain name or layout and elements of the website which they are connecting to are very similar compared to the website inside our security whitelist, there is a very high possibility our users are connecting to a phishing site, right? Because the most important characteristic of a phishing site is similarity. They always look similar compared to the website of the famous project. Okay, so that's basically our four major differentiations compared to Web2 browsers. Thank you very much, host.
Got it, Luke. I do have a follow-up question. So I guess my first one was more of a broad sense of what kind of differences users could see. But now talking more about Web3 technology, I know you did mention a little bit on this. Maybe you'd like to expand more, specifically about what kind of Web3 technology you guys have integrated into your browser that differentiate from traditional browsers as well.
Okay, the most important Web3 technology we are integrating into Mrs. Browser is decentralized domain names and IPFS. And the reason we are doing it is because we think the future trend of Web3 is going to be the decentralization of the website and also the database. Because right now, all those dApps are still deployed on centralized servers like Amazon and Microsoft Azure, right? But in the future, come on, guys, you are working in Web3. I think your website should be decentralized. It should have a decentralized domain names, and it should be deployed on decentralized servers like IPFS. The reason we integrate the resolution of decentralized domain and the IPFS is because we think this is the future trend of Web3. The decentralization of website itself and also the decentralization of database.
Got it. Thank you, Luke. Thank you. Yeah, so it's impressive to see how you guys do integrate Web3 technology. And I do have a question for Rose from NFTScan now. So NFTScan, it's an efficient data infrastructure. It's crucial for the NFT industry. We do want to congratulate NFTScan for becoming the official NFT data provider for CoinMarketCap as well. We're excited on exploring the role of NFT data infrastructure in shaping the future of the digital ownership and the Web3 ecosystem in general. So, Rose, I do have a question for you. What specific features and tools does NFTScan offer to NFT collectors, creators, and investors as well? And just two more follow-up questions to that. How do these features help users navigate the NFT market, and how does NFTScan contribute to those NFT projects as well? So kind of a big question there, but hopefully you can give us a good answer for that.
Yeah, I think that is like quite related to NFTScan's mission and also our vision, which is to be the world's largest NFT data infrastructure. And yes, we are quite happy to be the NFT data partner for CoinMarketCap, and recently we've been added the like Coin98 and the Sender Wallet, and we are still expanding to more partners. So yeah, we are like as you mentioned, contributing to the whole NFT ecosystem. And the way is that NFTScan now offers a range of features and tools to enhance the NFT experience for collectors, creators, and investors, which is the like participants of NFT ecosystem, right? And the NFTScan provides a professional NFT explorer, like complete with a vast NFT asset database, allowing users to easily discover and research NFT projects. Users can like search for any NFT collections and wallet address they are cared about. And whether it has the feature of full NFT data tracking determines whether NFT data service provide. So NFTScan is proud to announce that it ensures the completeness and high quality of NFT data by tracking and analyzing every transaction on the 14 networks we currently support. And the feature of NFT marketplace interpretation reflects the depth and the professionalism of NFT data. So as mentioned above, NFTScan continuously include NFT trading markets and their trading contracts on various blockchain networks. This is also the biggest advantage of NFT data service where NFTScan can stand. So that is basically how we contribute to the whole NFT ecosystem. Thanks.
Thanks, Rose. A question for both of you, for you, Rose, and for Luke. Do you have any specific Web3 protocol, whether it be privacy or security aspect or user-friendly optimization, that you guys support? And how do they enhance the user experience? Starting again with you, Rose, for NFTScan.
Yeah, sure. So NFTScan currently supports various Web3 protocols to enhance the user experience, like Binance NFT Marketplace, CMC, Coin98, etc. So these projects ensures that users' NFT assets, which means their portfolios and the browsing activities, are protected from centralized control and tampering activities. Additionally, NFTScan integrates decentralized identity protocols like Space ID, enabling users to have full ownership and control over their digital identities. So this enhances user privacy while promoting a more user-friendly and seamless experience within the Web3 ecosystem.
Thank you, Rose. Luke, same question to you.
Okay, so the case is actually a little bit different in Mrs. Browser because basically we can support all the dApps and extensions running on Mrs. Browser. Okay, so the majority of our work is about testing and optimize Web3 dApps and extensions. And actually, we are really focused on several dApps and extensions which are privacy or security related. For example, we are very focused on Revoke Cache. It's a dApp which can help you to withdraw your sign. So it can protect your assets when you connect to some phishing site. Actually, we have been focusing on this dApp, and we keep on testing and optimizing the performance of Revoke Cache message browser. And also, it's also the same case for some extension related, privacy related extensions like Privacy Badger, like AdBlock. We are very focused on those extensions as well, which means they can work perfectly right now on message browser. Okay, thank you, host.
Thank you, Luke. Thanks to both of you. Another question I have is regarding scalability. How do you address scalability issues in Web3 browsers, especially considering the growth and demand and complexity of the decentralized applications, as well as the integration of crypto wallet, swaps? Luke, this question is directed at you. How do you guys address these scalability issues?
Okay, actually, Mrs. Browser's structure is very scalable because basically you can download any extensions you want to use from the official Google Web Store to Mrs. Browser, and also you can use it's a browser. You can use our address bar to visit any websites or dApps you want to access. Okay, so basically, we basically can support all the blockchains if they got extension version of wallet, which also means we can basically support all the dApps. So let me show you an example. Okay, so back in January, Aptos was getting very popular, right? And all those four major wallet extensions Aptos, which are Martian Wallet, Quantum Wallet, Petra Wallet, and Future Wallet, they only got extension version. Okay, so for actually, I'm not trying to trash other browsers, but some browsers they only pre-install their own wallet, right? So in this case, their users cannot use dApp on Aptos because it's gonna take them a lot of time to add support for Aptos into their own wallet for their users. But on Mrs. Browser is totally different. All to do back in January, if you want to use Aptos dApps, all you to do is to visit Google Web Store and download one of those four wallets. It's very simple. And the experience is actually not really bad because when Aptos got famous and popular, we keep contacting the team of those four extensions and show them, hey, we found out this bug when running your extension on mobile browsers, and their response is usually, come on, man, how can you run our extension on mobile phones? So we show them Mrs. Browser, and we build partnership with Petra Wallet, with Quantum Wallet, and Martian Wallet. Right now, they can work perfectly on Mrs. Browser, and their ecosystem users can use Mrs. Browser to access their ecosystem anytime and anywhere with Mrs. Browser. So, yeah. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you, Luke. But I do have another question, which is actually both for you, Luke, and for Harrison as well. Collaboration. So how do you collaborate with other Web3 projects and communities specifically to foster interoperability and an open ecosystem? So I think we can start with you, Harrison, on this one. We'll get back to Luke after your answer.
Yeah, for sure. So from Space ID perspective, we're looking to add as much utility to domain names and for domain name holders as possible. This is both within specific top-level domain ecosystems, so .bnb for BNB chain, .arb for Arbitrum, but also soon to be other networks, and then eventually multi-chain and other cross-chain platforms. So what we're looking for mainly is where are these social interaction points within Web3 and how can we make that easier for users, not only our domain name holders, but also the users of other ecosystems. Two good examples are the projects we're with now, Mises and NFTScan. Being able to interact with your domain names within a browser or being able to easily search the history of specific domains using NFTScan is an obvious way to empower those communities. We also look for other aspects such as where the users are beginning their journey, where they're most active, whether that's wallets, games, DeFi dApps, SocialFi dApps, etc., and do the best we can to make sure we empower those users and then also introduce our community to these different ecosystems and dApps.
Thank you, Harrison. Luke, same question to you for regarding collaboration. How do you guys collaborate with these other Web3 projects to foster an open ecosystem?
Okay, so let me continue with the last question. As I said, Mrs. Browser is very scalable, right? So we can basically collaborate with every Web3 wallet extension or Web3 dApp. There's no problem for us. And when we do a partnership or collaborate with another Web3 project, the first step is going to be about the integration, which means we will integrate their dApp or their extension into our Web3 dApp store or extension applicator. And then we are going to do some testing together just to make sure their dApp extension can run perfectly on Mrs. Browser. This is also being responsible for the users of both sides, right? And after testing, when we make sure their app extension can run perfectly on Mrs. Browser and the mobile phones, we are going to do some connecting. Sorry, give me 1 minute. I got some urgent issue. I think you can hear my doorbell.
Yeah, there were some a bit of lag, but I think we can hear you fine right now.
Okay, just 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. I think we can continue to our next question, which is both for Rose and Luke. So while Luke checks out his connection, Rose, this question is going to you first. Can you explain to our audience how your project integrates Space ID and the benefits they will provide in your ecosystem, in the Web3 browser ecosystem in general? So what kind of benefits would you say the integration with Space ID provides from your perspective?
Yeah, that is a really brilliant question. So NFTScan integrates Space ID into our respective ecosystems. So Space ID empowers our users with self-sovereign identities, giving them full control over their personal information and data. So with Space ID integration, users can authenticate themselves securely and seamlessly across different Web3 platforms and services without relying on centralized identity providers, right? So this integration enhances privacy, reduces the risk of identity theft, and provides a seamless user experience across various Web3 applications. So NFTScan is glad to integrate with Space ID as it aligns with its commitment to user centricity, privacy, and data ownership. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Rose. Luke, are you good to talk? Good to answer the question?
Yes, I'm very sorry, guys. I'm very sorry.
No worries.
Okay, so yeah, so shall I continue about the collaboration with Mrs. Powder?
Oh, I think we went on to another question. The next question we have, which Rose also answered, is regarding the Space ID integration and the benefits that it's gonna provide within Mrs. Browser, within the Web3 browser ecosystem. Just from your perspective, what does the integration, what kind of benefits it brings to you guys?
Okay, so so the first part about our partnership is that we have integrated Space ID into Mrs. Web3 store, Web3 dev store. Sorry. So as we both of all of us can see, Space ID got a really strong community, right? So right now with Mrs. Browser, Mrs. community members can use Space ID community members can use Space ID in Mrs. Browser and on their mobile phones. Okay, which can definitely increase our exposure inside Space ID community. And we can also offer some value to Space ID community, which is accessibility to dApps on their mobile phones. And also we have do some marketing collaboration with Space ID as well. I believe we have do some campaigns together. We have airdrop some token to Space ID community before, and also in this EMA as well. And also in the future, when we solve those technical problems that I mentioned about, we will also support the resolution of Space ID in Mrs. Browser, because you guys have a very strong community. It's gonna be very valuable for Mrs. browser as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Definitely, I do agree. The integration of DYD solutions, it does hold tremendous potential for enhancing the user experience and enabling these seamless interactions within the decentralized landscape, right? And Rose, building up on this, I'm curious to know if there are any plans to expand functionality or introduce any new features to NFTScan in the future, based on user feedback and the evolving needs of the NFT community. Are there any specific enhancements that you guys have in mind or updates that you're planning to add to NFTScan?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to answer this question. So NFTScan is committed to continuously improving its service based on user feedback and the evolving needs of the whole NFT ecosystem builders. So we have a robust roadmap that includes expanding our NFT data coverage to support additional networks, upgrading data visualization tools, and introducing advanced analytics features. We also plan to collaborate with NFT projects and marketplaces to provide more comprehensive insights and tools for collectors, creators, and investors. So NFTScan is dedicated to remaining at the forefront of NFT data infrastructure, and we eagerly look forward to introducing new features that will further empower the whole NFT Connect community.
Great, thank you, Rose. Thanks for that answer. My next question is to all of you. As our projects do continue to evolve, introduce new capabilities, you might focus on slightly on developer engagement, right? Attracting and onboarding developers to build applications and extensions on your project is pretty crucial for fostering a vibrant ecosystem. So I do have a question regarding attracting and onboarding developers. So what are your strategies for doing that? So in order for them to build applications and extensions on your project. So starting with you, Rose, again, what kind of strategies do you have from NFTScan perspective?
Yeah, so regarding strategies, NFTScan has several strategies to attract and onboard new developers to build applications and extensions on their respective platforms or protocols. So firstly, we provide comprehensive and developer-friendly APIs as SDKs that facilitate simple integration with our comprehensive NFT data. So currently, our NFT API documentation has over 40 APIs that would mostly satisfy almost all the development needs, and we also provide customized API services. So these tools enable developers to easily access and utilize NFT data, blockchain networks, and browser functionalities. Additionally, we actively engage with the developer community through hackathons, workshops, and developer-centric initiatives to provide support, guidance, and resources. Yeah, I think that's our strategy, and would love to learn from other protocols.
Thank you, Rose. Luke, what are your strategy from the Mrs. Browser perspective? How are you guys attracting and onboarding developers?
Hey, we are still at the very early stage, so I'm basically here to learn from other projects, which is NFTScan. So right now, we don't really have a specific plan for that, but we definitely have to think about it in the future. So in the future, if anyone want to develop on Mrs. Chain, we can have some marketing support about it, and we can also have support for their dApp on Mrs. Browser, the optimization and testing to make sure their dApp can run perfectly and can acquire users for mobile devices. And also for projects with high quality, with a good app team, we can give them some MIS token grant as well. So this is basically my answer for this question.
Thank you, Luke. Okay, I think our connection is back. Pretty sure there were some connection issues. Harrison, so from the Space ID side, I don't think this is a topic we touched on before, actually, or at least not a lot. How do we plan from the Space ID side to onboard and attract developers, community developers specifically, to build on our ecosystem?
Yeah, for sure. The first thing you need to do is build a robust project that people want to build on top of. We've already seen that with our bnb.me extensions, which allow people to use their domain names as an actual, browser website within, Web 2 and Web 3 browsers. Beyond that, there's a lot of different ways to approach this. First off, making our ecosystem available not only on BNB and Arbitrum, but also by aggregating, ENS.eth, Lens Protocol, other networks that we're getting to launch on our aggregate. This makes it easier for these different ecosystem projects to not only build, but build confidently. So they have different ideas in mind where they need identity infrastructure. This could be communication applications, leaderboards, gaming applications, etc. And we just really want to provide those tools and make that as accessible as possible. So it's really about pinpointing these different pains in the industry or within specific sectors of the industry, and then making our SDKs and APIs as widely available and easily as usable as possible. We also want to incentivize this because this not only helps the community of domain name holders, but also the ID token overall. So we do have our grant program, which is meant to incentivize exchanges, dApps, wallets, etc., to not only integrate our domain names, but also to build applications on top of that. I think this is something we're going to be focusing on much more moving forward now that we've kind of established our proof of concepts with our different domain name launches to date. And it really just allows for the creativity of our community and for the ecosystem to thrive. And we offset as much as of those downside as possible by providing community support, funding support, and really just simple to use APIs and SDKs. So it's really how can you make these tools and our toolkit as widely available as possible, and how can we connect with the right parties that are building applications that can utilize this toolkit.
Thank you, Harrison. Thanks for that very insightful answer. And we do hope to see more applications built on top of Space ID, of course. Moving on to another interesting question for all of you. So let's talk about roadmap. Let's talk about milestones. Starting with you, Rose. Can you share any new moves or your roadmap for this year, specifically for NFTScan? Are there any major milestones, achievements, or initiatives that you are particularly excited about that you want to share with our audience right now?
Yeah, sure. Would really like to share. So for Q3, our plan is to launch the Explorer and the API documentation on Say Network, Starknet, and update our new version of Explorer complete. And the third one is to complete our strategic round of fundraising. So for Q4, we are going to expand to ZK Sync, Scroll, and secondly, we will be comply and apply for regulatory licenses. So stay tuned for our updates and on our social media. Thanks.
Thank you, Rose. Very interesting. Luke, for the Mrs. Browser side, what would you like to share in terms of your roadmap for this year? Anything exciting you guys have going on?
Okay, thank you very much for this chance. So right now we are building and integrating a DAX into Mrs. Browser. It's called Mrs. Swap. Okay, it's gonna be in the future. It's gonna be an aggregator of different DAXs and liquidity protocols. So you on Mrs. Swap, you can have the best price for a swapping token. Right now we have integrated the beta version into Mrs. Browser, and let's stay tuned for the official launch. And also by the end of this year, we are thinking about to integrate or develop our own decentralized domain and for a decentralized storage system, into Mrs. Browser. So by the end of this year, you may have a decentralized personal Dropbox in Mrs. Browser, and you can use the service with some MIS token. And also, at the start of next year, we are thinking about to build another dApp. It's going to be a marketplace for information, which means all those stuff do not need logistic. For example, activation code of games, the music made by yourself, internet literature, all can be traded on this marketplace, Mrs. Browser. Okay, so thank you very much. This is basically our roadmap for this year.
Great, thank you, Luke. Thanks for the insight. Harrison, for Space ID, same question as well. We are in the midst of the season 2 airdrop. What else do we have planned for this year, for this very exciting 2023?
Yeah, we have a lot that we're building, both in the foreground and the background. Like you said, we have the season 2 airdrop going on now. We're getting ready to launch our third top level domain, .say, in collaboration with the Say network. This should be really exciting. Don't want to give too much information there yet, but definitely make sure you're following our Say social channels so that all of these users that are interested can get first dibs on the best domain names that they want. There's going to be some opportunities for that. We also have another really big network that's getting ready to launch their top 50 right now. We're discussing their domain name, and there should be more information about that soon. Beyond that, we're really looking to open source our platform. So adding more aggregations to our SDK and APIs so that more dApps can utilize the Space ID toolkit, making domain name launches easier for communities, whether that's on the top level domain chain specific level or for dApps and games on their own. So this is really going to open up revenue streams for Space ID. And like we saw last time with our governance proposal, we had a buyback and burn using that revenue from the domain name fees generated. So as we continue to launch new domains, and also as we help other ecosystems launch new domains, all of this value is going to go back to our ecosystem users through buyback and burn and grants for people that are building on top of and integrating the Space ID protocol. So really looking to open source and push the domain name ecosystem further. Not only in the chains we currently support, but also through blockchain and the Web3 ecosystem more generally.
Awesome. Thank you, Harrison. I did see someone in the chat asking regarding Voyage Season 3. Well, we have not really announced anything regarding that. If that does happen, you will surely know from our socials, either Discord or Twitter. Yeah. Thank you, Harrison. So last question for everyone. So we pretty much covered it all. Definitely learned a lot about NFTScan and Mrs. Browser. But I'd just like to ask if there's any closing comments you guys have that you would like to share with the audience. Maybe you have any events going on, or generally anything you'd like the audience to know about your project. So Rose, starting with you.
Thank you. So in conclusion, thanks for having NFTScan in today's space. I'm really happy to be here. NFTScan is revolutionizing the NFT landscape with our comprehensive data infrastructure and developer-friendly tools. So as we continue to grow and expand our offerings, we look forward to empowering the NFT community with valuable insights, supporting the development of innovative applications, and contributing to the overall advancement of the NFT ecosystem. So even though we may be witnessing some unpleasurable events recently, I believe that it is only short term. So together, let's unlock the full potential of NFTs and shape the future of digital ownership together with quality partners like Space ID and Mises.
Awesome. Great to hear. Thank you, Rose. Luke, any closing comments from your side?
Okay, thank you guys very much for inviting me today to your Discord AMA. Both NFTScan and Space ID is very good partners of Mrs. Browser. We have been supported and collaborated with each other for a long time. And and also guys, if you have lost a good trading or swapping opportunity or minting opportunity because you don't have access to a computer or laptop by your side, use Mrs. Browser to use Web3 dApps to swap and mint anytime and anywhere. And enjoy the airdrop. You can also follow Mrs. Twitter account for all of our other airdrops. We do have lots of campaigns, and thank you guys for listening to our Discord AMA today, and thank you Space ID and NFTScan.
Thanks, Luke. Thank you. Thanks for that closing comments. And Harrison, anything else you'd like to share from your side?
Yeah, thanks Artan for hosting as always. Thank you, Rose and Luke. Really happy to be working with you guys. Building out protocols and ecosystems that are gonna take place in a lot of different aspects of the crypto market. So, continue to follow us. Get ready for new domain names. Get ready for new tools within our ecosystem, and we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
We definitely do. Thank you, Harrison. As for closing this month's MA Carnival, I'd like to thank all of our audience who joined, all of our speakers who joined today as well. Make sure if you listen in for 25 minutes, go ahead and claim your oats on Galaxy right now. You will have a chance to win from the $400 prize pool. We have 200 in MIST token and we have 200 in USDT. And as Harrison mentioned, we do have our Voyage Season 2 airdrop going on right now, so you can go ahead and claim your airdrop if you participated in the Voyage Season 2, calling and striking. And also, like Harrison mentioned, stay tuned for our upcoming newest TLD, which is the .say TLD. Thanks everybody who joined. Looking forward to have more conversations with more partners, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Have a nice one. Bye bye.